All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As far as my eyes can tell, or my vision, it's approximately 6:01. So let's start this special meeting called the Joint Special Meeting between the City Council, Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency, successor agency, Board, Calexico Financing Authority, and the Board of Education of the Calexico Unified School District on this historic date, April 9th, 2014, at approximately 6 p.m. Looking to my right, I can, as far as council member at this present time, Yoon Kim is not here. Hopefully he will attend. And looking to my left, we have the school board members. Would you be kind enough to introduce yourself? Go right down the line.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And on behalf of the Calexico Unified School District, I would like to welcome you to our, like Mr. Hodge said, I believe, historical first joint committee meeting ever. So to my far left, I have Mike Randall, Assistant Superintendent of Business Services. Next to her is my Superintendent, Maria Ambriz, Board Member Ruth Duarte, Board Member Norma Aguilar, and myself, Vice President Ciro Calderon.
Okay. And did we get the nice young lady at the very end? Did we? No, that's you, miss.
No,
that's you. Okay. John does double takes like that, too. Okay. All right, so call to order, and we do have a quorum here, and we've acknowledged our attendance. So let's please stand, ladies and gentlemen, for this great country and give. Yes? Oh, okay. Yes. I need to learn here.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Joint meeting. Need to open up. Thank you. Keep me abreast.
Okay. I, Ciro Calderon, call to order first on this joint meeting, committee meeting for Calexico City Council and Calexico Unified School District. I, Ciro Calderon, and what do you mean? Oh, I'm sorry. This is my first time presiding. We have 3 members, and we do have a quorum. Okay. I, Ciro C. Calderon, Vice President of Calexico Unified School District Board of Trustees. I am deferring to Bill Hodge, Mayor of the City of Calexico, to run the meeting on behalf of me as a presiding officer of Calexico Unified School District, subject to my regaining my authority when applicable, specifically to my public entity. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Is that okay? Now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here at this meeting. So, approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second by anyone at this panel?
Second.
Okay. All right. Very good. It is motion by Mayor Pro Tem Moreno, and once again, second by Councilwoman Hertal. Please vote, ladies and gentlemen.
We're not going to be able to. We have to do verbal.
Just voice vote.
Voice vote?
On our side.
Okay. All right. Everyone in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, say no. Abstentions? The ayes have it, ladies and gentlemen, the approval of the agenda.
Now we need to do it.
Okay, I'm learning. Okay, joint meeting, that means duplication.
Yes.
And here we go.
So we are going to approve the agenda of this joint special meeting.
Motion to approve.
Motion.
I see, okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
All right, I'm learning now.
Okay, yes.
This is what a joint meeting is. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, I'll take the lead on the public announcements, right? Okay. All right. So now it's time for announcements, public appearance, and public comments. Note not to exceed 3 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the council on any item on the special meeting agenda. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. Please direct your questions and comments to the city council and the school district for this evening. And looking out, I see everybody here is upstanding individuals of our community, and I know we're not going to have any problem. But just a reminder, we're all entitled to our differences, but audience, I do not want you shouting out to the people that are commenting at the microphone. We need to keep this orderly and moving forward in an efficient manner. Okay, so I have two now, and two of my fellow colleagues. So let me call on first ACT President Chad Cooper. Would you like to come forward, sir? Sure.
Good evening. My name is Chad Cooper. I'm a teacher at Raven Carmine Junior High School. I live at 2424 Stadium Court, Imperial, California. I have the pleasure of representing 400 members as president of the Associated School Teachers. And yesterday, our representative council passed a resolution, and I'm here to read the resolution. The title of the resolution is Resolution Regarding the Swimming Pool Construction Project at Clexco High School. Whereas adequate facilities are needed in order to provide a quality education to students. Whereas the primary purpose of the school district is to provide education to the district students. Whereas the construction of a swimming pool would provide for healthy and fun activities for students and community members. Whereas the Clexco Unified School District's current self-qualified status indicates financial distress and uncertainty. Whereas the district stakeholders have voiced their concerns regarding a variety of issues, which are of equal or greater priority than constructing a swimming pool, including reducing class size, the retention and recruitment of qualified school personnel, the full restoration of our school counseling services, the lack of adequate educational technology, the poor condition of many textbooks, the need for lighting in the softball and baseball fields, the restoration of junior high and elementary school sports programs, and the lack of shade on playgrounds and physical education areas. Whereas the public is presently unable to present or participate in many discussions about the swimming pool because formal meetings are held in private between the Clexco City Council members, City of Clexco's administrative staff, trustees from the Clexco Unified School District, and Clexco Unified's administrative staff. Whereas the lack of transparency in this project has already caused controversy, such as the questionable selection process of the project's architect. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the members of the Associated Clexco Teachers, ACT, proclaim that there is not enough public information available to support the construction of a costly swimming pool at this time. Because important committee meetings are closed to the public, members of ACT, along with other interested parties, have been omitted from the planning process. Members of ACT are aware and agree.
I'm sorry.
Okay, just making sure. Members of ACT are aware and agree that restoring our community swimming pool is much needed. However, careful consideration to the district's budget must be given, as there are other areas that impact student learning that need additional monetary support and assistance. Furthermore, members of ACT officially urge the City of Clexco and the Clexco Unified School District to open all further meetings to the public which they serve. Be it further resolved that Associated Clexco teachers strongly encourage encourages all of Calexico's stakeholders to join in urging transparency and public input in all matters concerning the Calexico High School swimming pool project. The practice of holding clandestine meetings must cease immediately. This
Almost
was
through.
adopted on the 8th day of April 2014. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chad Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper.
Okay. The other request is by Diana Harvey. Welcome, Diana Harvey. Please come forward.
My name is Diana Harvey. I am a Calexico teacher, a graduate of Calexico High School, and a member of ACT and one of the former presidents. I'm going to make eye contact all around the room as I'm talking. I know at the board meetings in the school district, we usually just talk to the board, but I'm going to survey the room. I'm a segue for Chad's presentation. I have documents here that show from the state that our district has been qualified status, which means we are in financial jeopardy. What it really means is that for this year and next year, we have enough money to pay our bills, but the third year, they're not sure. So as I see it, if we encumber an expense that has to be paid over multi-years, then where is the money going to come from in the third year? I'm hearing redevelopment funds. We've never had a hearing to show how much money we have in redevelopment funds. I'm hearing Measure H. It's been a long time, and I don't even know who's on the committee for Measure H. I don't know where the money's going. Measure H is the state. No. Measure J is us. Well, anyway, I haven't seen where this money's going to come from, but as far as the school district is concerned, I don't want to go into solvency over a pool. And the first interim report says we are in jeopardy. The second, and here's the signature, and here's the paper. The school district has seen it. The city hasn't. The city of Calexico hasn't seen it. I know Mr. Rubio from the newspaper has written articles. Second interim matches. We're qualified. Financial jeopardy. And there's another interim report that's going to come out June 1st. Now, if that's going to show that we're fluid with money, then I'm not for the pool yet. I still want to see where the money is going to come from. But until this report changes, then it's a very slippery slope that we're embarking on to build a $7 million pool. And how much money is going to come from our school district when we really are saying to the people of Calexico, we don't have enough money in a couple of years to pay our bills. Thank you. And I'm going to leave documents to add to the meeting for her. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Harvey.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey.
Okay. City Manager, there are no slides or presentation, or is there?
Yes, if you have no more comments, you're moving.
There are no more public comments. Yeah, okay. Well, just acknowledge it, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Thank you, Mr. Calderon. All right, just to officially make you aware of what the major business item is tonight, I'm sure you can figure it out, but let me officially read it. The business item is one business item, ladies and gentlemen, and it is discussion and/or action on approval to move forward with construction of the Calexico Community Pool Facilities by the City of Calexico and Calexico Unified School District. You may proceed, City Manager.
What we'd like to do tonight before you go into your discussion phase is provide you with the presentation which we have already provided to the council and the school board. I believe has had their presentation, as well as Measure H Committee has had a presentation also. So we're going to go through it and probably not in much detail, but if certainly there's questions we'd be happy to answer. Tonight we have Manny Galinas. I'm just trying to remember. He's going to be pinch hitting in for Jim Sanders, the architect on the project, and then Raul Martinez from the Calexico Unified School District, who will also be assisting me on the presentation. So to tonight, as the mayor has stated, we are just basically coming to you to provide you with information and get a direction from both boards as to whether or not we're going to move forward with this project. Now, I want to make it very clear that that doesn't mean that we're going to sign a contract tomorrow. There's still a lot of process that we have to go through in order to get to that point. And we will go through a proposed schedule on the project, which will delineate for you the different items that we still have to go through. Obviously, the biggest item is going to be putting together a memorandum of understanding between the board and the council, which will delineate the different items, such as the usage of the items, such as the financing of the items, such as who makes certain calls in reference to how that facility is being utilized. And once that agreement is put together, then staff on both sides will bring it up to their individual boards for approval. So that still needs to be done, and there's some work that needs to be done on that. But obviously, we don't want to spend a lot of time to spin our wheels if, in fact, either one side or the other decides they don't want to move forward with a project like this, because it takes a lot of time and effort and documentation. After that's put together, then the plans and specs, which have currently been going through the state architect's office, because as you may or may not know, it needs to go to the state architect's office if in fact it's being done on school premises. And in fact, the state architect is a little more stringent than we would have through the city. So that's not necessarily bad.
Mr. Rodriguez, you're saying that it has to go to the state architect's office, but isn't this plan why we paid that much money? We as the district, we paid this much money, so it was taken already. So, to my understanding, it was already taken to the state architect's office.
Yes.
Isn't this what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
The school district decided to move along, hire the architect, and do the plans and specs, and send it to the state architect.
Yes.
That's correct.
And
Okay, so that has been done.
That has been done.
So the state has approved
What
that
we're waiting in this time is going to be the approval from the state architect to be able to move forward to the next step. Once we have the memorandum of understanding, then the next step would be to move forward with the bidding of the project. Now, before we get to all of those stages, each board will have to approve every step as we move along. So I just want to make it very clear that tonight you're not giving us go ahead and start building. Tonight you're giving us, both boards agreeing, if you decide to do this, that you want to move forward with this project. And you're asking staff to do whatever they need to do to move forward with it, but obviously with the same idea as any of you would do the project, whether it's the school district or the city, bringing back at every single step. The MOU, the authorization of the bid, the acceptance of the bid, the actual notice to proceed on the bid, all of that still has to come back to you.
So in other words, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. So in other words, we are here just to agree to move on. However, we as a board, we still have to decide whether we want, at a later date, when we have our own meeting, we have to decide on whether we're going to approve it or not. Is that what you're saying?
Step of the way, you have to approve.
Okay.
We are hoping that tonight we get a general concurrence from both boards and say, yes, move forward, if that's what you want to do. If that's not what you want to do, then we want to hear that too, because we don't want to waste our time putting together all these documentations and spending all this money to get to the point where we want to be.
But tonight, we're not agreeing on, we are not deciding on the MOU.
That is correct.
We're not. We're just agreeing to move forward. Then as a board, we will decide if we want to approve the MOU.
We will bring back the MOU to both boards.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to be very honest, as much as honest as possible, well, honest period. Hearing what I just heard by my fellow colleagues have raised concerns, but you know that at this point I've supported the pool. But as we go along, does this imply that there can be revisions?
As we move along, there can be revisions. We are looking for a global understanding that
we want a pool.
We want to move forward with this project.
Okay.
Obviously, your staff will be working, the school district staff as well as our staff will be working to put these documents together, and we'll be sharing, back and forth to make sure, like in any negotiation, that we get a proper MOU that we believe would then be appropriate for both both bodies, but we will still have to bring it back to the different bodies for approval.
Each individual board.
That is correct.
And council. Okay.
Okay.
Might make sense?
Yes.
So that's what we want to make sure tonight, that everybody understands, that you're not giving us a carte blanche to start building this pool, okay? You are agreeing to move forward with the project because in concept, everybody agrees that we should do that. Or you don't, one of the two. And that's what we want to know as staff, so that we can then decide where our efforts should go, and how much effort we should put into this project, or not, one of the two. So tonight, we're going to give you a presentation again that we have already presented before, but with the updated material in reference to mainly the calendar, because now the calendar has changed from the last time that we made this presentation. We had a PowerPoint, we'll just go through it, and then at the end, I'm sure you'll have questions. But the first item on there is, where are we? Where are we today? Well, you got that?
And what you're showing is right here.
Okay. Maybe we can turn out the light there.
It's right here. Come, zero if you don't want to look at it.
Okay, so this is where we're at. Plans have been submitted to the Division of State Architect. It costs $37,450. The comments from DSA are in progress, and we, at this point, are hoping to get a green light from them in April. Correct me, and then if I'm saying something wrong. And then the agreement with consultants for special testing inspections are in place. That has been going on. Hazard material has been abated. As you know, the district needed to move forward with that regardless. Move forward as a group or a new pool. The demolition of the swimming pool is in progress, and I think right now it just needs, the debris needs to be removed. I believe that.
It's almost through, is that correct?
Yeah, I think it's been actually demolished, but the debris needs to be.
The whole thing is, we just have a big hole in there, right? That's what we have, right? Basically. I mean, I just want to be clear that everything has been done, we just have a big hole there.
Not good to have a big hole.
Problem, I think, is, that's correct, we still have a big hole. However, there is some debris that needs to be removed. Very minor, considering what was demolished during that storm.
Okay, we'll talk later about that.
Okay, and of course, the major dates that we're looking at, and again, we'll detail further as we get into the calendar, is the projected swimming pool ready to bid. We're hoping June. Like I said, we're hoping to get a final approval from state architect in April. It could swing into May, so we're saying June to play it safe. And then if everything goes along according to the calendar, we would have a completion date of April of next year, being ready for the summer season for next year. Next slide. This slide talks about the siting of the project, and I'll let you kind of go through this with you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Manny Godinez from Jimmy Sanders. What you're seeing here is the site plan that cites the proposed construction. It's one building, well, it's two buildings, two separate buildings, classrooms to the left of the upper image, and the shower lockers on the left of it. We've got the competition pool above and the recreation pool below that. And then we have a section of, I'm not sure which pool it is, the competition, I believe.
The blue is the pool.
Plan of the pools.
The blue, of course, are the pool, right? The blue are the
Yes,
pools. What's the red? I can't read it, I can't see.
Yes.
Locker rooms and
Locker rooms and shades, and showers.
what kind of shades?
There's an entry shade between the two structures that you can't really see here, but it's a steel structure. And then we have a pool equipment enclosure on the upper right corner that has a shade over it as well.
Mr. Hodge, if you remember from our meetings, that was the phase 3.
Right.
The locker rooms were actually
Right.
part of
Thank you.
One of the last phases.
That's right. And that needs to be noted. They're in 3 phases.
Correct.
Right.
You want to describe the phase?
Question, I can't,
I'm sorry, it's the second, please.
the second, okay. I have a question.
Go ahead.
I can't see, whichever way I put my glasses, I can't see. So you have an orange build, or orange shades and red shades. Which one, I guess the one on top, the one that look more orange. What are those?
Okay,
This one?
we have public shades for the
These on top.
the attendance. Well, we have 4 shade structures. One directly above, one directly to the
Okay.
right.
The orange or shades.
One below, and one off to the upper left.
Yeah.
Those are shades, those are canvas shades.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
The one on the upper right is for the equipment storage. Or the pool equipment and some storage.
Okay. So the orange are shades.
Shades for the type.
And then
All right.
the other ones, the bright red, I guess, to the left, those would be
Locker.
the lockers. Okay, I can't see, that's why,
Yeah.
I can't see.
We're both over 50, so.
Yeah, I feel 70, so.
Okay, and then the next slide depicts some of the costs that we're working with. And the total project is estimated at $7.243 million. Now, we want to document that in fact it's 3 phases. What we're talking about tonight is phase 1. We're working with the Senator Wessel's office in order for them to hopefully put some documentation into the state budget and assisting us with phase 2 and 3. And our arguments with the senator was that we were going to try to move forward with phase 1, and so that we didn't ask the state for the full amount of money. We wanted to participate in this project, and therefore, hopefully, he could sell it to the legislature, that there is a big need for this. And by doing the joint venture, my understanding, and maybe you could address this, my understanding by doing this joint venture, that opens the door for funding for the classrooms that we talked about. So that's the benefit, one of the benefits
Of the joint venture.
At a joint venture is that there is the potential of getting funding for these classrooms that we all need, whether it's a school district or whether it's a city. It's for our kids, so it's a benefit.
It sounds encouraging. I like it, city manager, but again, potential, right? There's no guarantee, sir. I got to play devil's advocate.
Senator's office, he thinks it's a very positive point to be
All
able
right.
to make that.
And I know he's working hard.
Phase 1, and they were coming.
How much are we asking him to try to contribute from
The
that?
difference, which would be phase 2 and 3.
Oh, okay, that amount.
Oscar, I thought Senator Wessel was asking for 2.8.
Well, that's why it's 2.8.
The letter that he sent us,
Yes.
that was 2.8.
Phase 2 and phase 3 is 2.8.
Yeah.
Because phase 1 is.
That was
the most.
that's not the way that it was explained to me. But okay, continue. But that's not the way that it was explained to me, that this money will be used for phase 2 and 3. Because as you know, with phase 1, we do have, just completing phase 1, we do have a working pool that we can use. And we do have, and that both the school district can use and the city can use with just phase 1. And I thought I had talked to my colleagues, and we, in open session, of course, and we had said that phase 1, that with phase 1, after phase 1, we would look into phase 2 and phase 3. But now this is news to me, that this 2.8 that he's asking, that it will be used to complete phase 2 and 3, because that's not the way that it was explained to me.
That is correct, and the reason that we did that is that we could actually live with phase 1. If there is no money, nobody wants to continue with phase 2,
Could live with phase 1.
we can use phase 1, because it's got the lockers,
That's right.
the showers, it's got the main pool, it's got the
Yeah.
essentials that we need. And so if the senator's office doesn't come across with phase 2 and 3, then we have a decision to make whether we want to proceed or not to try to find the funding for 2 and 3. If the senator's office does come across and it is approved in the state budget,
And we've got the money.
Now we can cover phase 2 and 3 and finish the whole facility.
With his contribution.
That would be coming from state money. That's
Nothing from our general fund or
state funds.
state funds? Okay.
Yeah, he went to the Committee on Parks and Recreation, and he went to other, but once again, that was not the way that it was explained to me. And I've been a big advocate for this pool, but once again, that's not the way that it was explained to me about the 2.8. I thought the 2.8 would complement what we needed, what we would have at this point to finish phase one. So
To finish phase one?
to finish phase one, that's the way that I read it.
Oh, I wasn't explained that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing.
Okay, well, but continue, please
One of
continue.
the major problems that we have is
Yeah.
timing.
Yes.
Wait for state legislature to do anything, and make it wild.
Okay, yes.
That's another reason. why
Go ahead, continue.
we funded it the way we did for phase one. Anyway, so you have phase one, which is roughly $4.4 million. And then phase two is approximately $1 million, and then phase three is approximately $1.8 million. And that's where your $2.8 million comes from for phase 2 and 3. And the total project being a $7.2 million project for the facility. The next slide is another depiction of the pool. This next slide is basically just showing the floor plan of the two different pools that we're having, a competition pool on the right-hand side, and the direct pool, the small pool on the left. Sections of the pools below that. And again, as you can see, the whole idea here was to, if we were going to build a facility, let's build a facility that could be utilized by as many people as possible, and certainly also bring to the community, hopefully, some people by building the competition pool, because that opens up the whole idea of competition and other cities, competing against us, and obviously bringing bringing revenue to the city and so on. So that was the whole idea. If we're going to do this, let's try to maximize and try to address as many people as possible by building this facility.
Right. And correct me if I'm wrong, you have a better history about our pool in the past, but what I remember discussing is that there will be a difference with this Olympic pool, that in the MOU, we will strive to have it in operation almost all year long. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, in the past, when we had the prior pool, there was a facilities use agreement, and the school district, I believe, had it about 8 months, and then the city had about 4 months during the summer, and the city would run the summer program, and then, of course, during the rest of the time, the school district would use it for their classes.
Does it have to be that way?
Well,
Divide it like that?
The MOU will structure all of this, and certainly we have some history to go back to and look at, not recreating the wheel here, but it certainly in the past has made sense that the district would use it, during the school year, because they use it for their classes.
So,
But
Oscar,
it would still be available at nighttime.
okay, that's what I'm getting at. That's to be available to the public. Okay.
If I may interject?
I just want a clarification.
If I may interject, and you will recall, Mr. Hodge, from our meetings
Yes.
at the pool, there was discussion of increasing the access, citizens' access to the pool.
Right.
Based on that premise, it was agreed upon to pursue creating a design based on solar panel heating, which would allow for heating throughout the year during the winter months, so that you would have access to it in those other months.
I understand, and I remember that. I just wanted
Okay.
reconfirmation for the public and
Thank you.
and for me.
And that's usually, Maria, that's usually the way that things have been done, right? No? No, regarding the joint use, the joint use of facilities
Yes,
for the pool.
we use it throughout the year for the most part.
Yeah, and-
For physical education classes.
Yes.
And then the summers.
And then the
Summers, the pools,
The city
yes.
takes over.
Mr. Calderona, it should also be noted that when the pool is operational, there'll also be school teams for CoCLX High School using it in the fall and in the spring.
Yeah.
So that also, that's also plays an important part of the usage of the pool.
Okay.
So the students at CoCLX High School will form a swim team and participate
Yes.
in
Including,
that is great,
including
and
the PE classes.
the PE classes during the day.
That is great, but what I want more of is public access. Will there be more public access compared to the past?
In the agreement, we will structure something that talks about usage of either agency when the other agency is in their time period. For example, if the school district is in the 8 months and we decide that's basically when they use it, there'll also be a trigger in there that if the school, if the city wants to use it for a special function or whatever, obviously there'll be a trade-off with the district. So there'll be some kind of mechanism in order that the pool doesn't stay there just, for example, if the school district just uses this for a certain time period, there's availability of time, that doesn't just sit there. We'll put a mechanism that we can borrow back and forth.
Good.
And provide access to the public.
Nighttime classes
Right.
and
Or
water.
or public
Aerobics.
access at nighttime?
To allow it for that, revenue comes in, that we need to operate the function, there'll be other mechanisms to bring in the public to utilize the pool.
Water aerobics, okay.
All right.
And then the next slide talks about our funding for phase one. And this is where, again, one of the things that was taken into consideration is timing. We all jumped on board, wanted to have a pool and everything, and time slips away. So here we are in April, we were hoping to have it for the summer.
This summer.
We all know that this is a very complicated deal to put together, especially when you've got two agencies and the political agencies. So there's a lot to think about, there's a lot of input that needs to be taken into this thing. So it took us a while to get back on track. But this is the way we, at this point, propose that the financing take place. The total project, again, is 4.390. There's about 400,000, as we understand it, from the school district that came in from FEMA because of the earthquake. In order to either refurbish the pool or build a new pool, obviously you couldn't refurbish the pool. So this is where that money is coming from. We have a school district bond. And what that is in the redevelopment days, there was, the way you formed redevelopment was that you had to get all the taxing agencies to agree to pass through their particular part of the financing to the redevelopment agency. And so theoretically, if it was 1%, the property taxes, 1% would go to redevelopment agencies to take care of blighted areas within your city. That was the theory behind it. Now, the theory and actuality are two different things, so we ended up having to negotiate deals with the county, with all our taxing agencies, with the county, Heffernan Memorial Hospital District, IDC, Calexico Unified School District. And so what we worked out with Calexico Unified School District was that the state would backfill for this district. So the district was made whole. But because it was our district, we wanted to make sure that we took advantage of assisting our district. So what we did is, for their 30%, we took 20% away from that 100%. Hopefully you can follow me on this. So if we got $1, then we took 20%, the agency took 20%. We didn't negotiate that out because that was for housing projects. And due to the fact that there's a big need for affordable housing, we said we cannot negotiate that. And again, remember that the district was being made whole by backfilling by the state. They were made whole. And then we decided, okay, we're going to help the district by taking the other 80 cents that are left, and half of that is going to go into a special fund, which will then be utilized to fund projects that assist the district and the city. So there will be joint projects, just as the pool is, just as the fixing of the tennis courts. I believe some redevelopment went into that. Some other projects, and I don't have them before me, but there was other projects that came before that said, even though it may be on school district property, such as tennis courts, it's still going to benefit the public, because the public can go and use it. So it made sense that we take some of this money and put it back into projects that were of joint use to both agencies. So as that went forward, some money was created, and in fact, there was money that was provided to the district to fix up, I believe it was Jefferson School. During the earthquake, there was some money that we had raised through that mechanism to provide to the district to assist them in that particular venture.
Okay.
So what was decided is, let's take this revenue flow that's coming off of this particular mechanism and let's bond it. And let's see how much money we can raise for the purpose of building a swimming pool facility. So we took this revenue flow and we bonded against it, and we were able to come up with 1.2, which may be today 1.3. We have to get the actual numbers when we actually put all the final numbers together. I'm sure there's some interest in there and so on. So that's how that $1.2 million came about.
Is it bonded?
There was a bond that was sold, and the money is currently sitting with the trustee specifically to be used for the swimming pool facilities.
So we have it.
Yes,
So we have that money
yes. Sitting with the trustee.
Can reach out and take it.
for the purpose of building the pool.
That was the main purpose for doing it.
Okay,
Okay?
so that's clear.
All right, I'm going to move forward with this. Then we have the city Measure H. We went to Measure H and said,
City did.
this is a very important project. We believe that this will benefit the community. We believe it'll benefit both agencies. And even though it's money that's coming to the city, and Measure H has the ability to recommend the council, and council makes a final decision, we believe it would be a good investment to put this money towards a pool facility that provides services to the total community. Measure H went ahead and recommended that to the council, and the council approved $1 million towards this project.
Right, I remember.
That money is there.
Where is it, Oscar?
So, I'm sorry?
Where is it?
It's in the city coffers under the Measure H. It's there. It's not in my pocket, it's there.
All right.
So just 1 mil, that's it.
I'm sorry?
1 million?
1 million. Okay, now let me go up further there. So you've got $2.6 million that our understanding is available. The FEMA money and the school district bond money is sitting with the trustee and the Measure H money.
Tangibly available.
Tangibly available.
Why is there a question mark after,
The reason we put the question mark is that can change based on the interest.
Okay.
Where's the question mark, John?
So it's not gonna be less. So it's not gonna be less, but it could be more.
Could be more.
Okay,
Okay.
could be more.
All right.
Okay, school district.
Okay, and then we go to, okay, so what's unfunded? There's $1.8 million that's unfunded. We had to figure a way to fund the differential if we wanted to do phase one. So the idea came, rather than to go back to Measure H and ask them to fund another $1.8 million on a freebie,
Poor Measure
let's
H.
go ahead and take an obligation here and show that we've been business on both boards, and let's do a $900,000 loan to each board, to the school district and to the city, which will be paid back to Measure H, so they can continue to do what they do and service what they need to service, and we'll do it on a no-interest loan. That way, the district doesn't get burdened with interest, which we're doing it because it's for the benefit of the community and the benefit of both boards. So there's no reason to charge it on the snow. And let's stretch it out as far as possible. So we have, I think, about 17 years left on this bond issue. It could be 16. So we said, by the time we do it, then let's do a 15-year mortgage repayment. So when you calculate that out, I think it ends up being $60,000 a year. That's what we're talking about here. That the school district would have to pay $60,000 a year, and the city would have to put $60,000 a year. I don't know about you, but my personal opinion, that's a pretty good investment. You know, for the community.
Let me ask you, 60,000 might seem like a dumb question, but I don't think, will it hurt the city in any way? Will it mitigate against other services or funding or salaries or?
Let's just put it this way, obviously the policy decision of what the priority of this project is. $60,000 is not going to break the city. I don't know about the district, but it ain't going to break the city. We'll find $60,000.
$5,000 a month. School district,
Mike.
will this impede or stop other areas of facility development?
Let me ask a question first.
Please.
Where would this money be coming from? General fund or?
Yes.
And it'll come out to 5,000 a month?
5 times 12 is 60,
Yeah.
No, interest free, right?
interest-free?
For 15 years.
15 years, that's right.
Mr. Rodriguez, just clarification, the Measure H, what's the life of that bond?
I believe it's 20 years.
20 years? So we are 4 years into the Measure H.
4 years.
I think it's 4.
Oscar, are there any other costs anticipated with this loan? So you said interest free.
Well, the loan will be, that's what we're going to be proposing to Measure H. Measure H is not approved, or not, they don't approve, they recommend to council.
Right.
Okay, we have not gone forth and actually made that request. We've talked about how we're going to do the project. We made a presentation to them, the same presentation you're getting tonight. But we did not want to go to them and so officially make that request until we know whether both boards are on board or not.
May I ask a question for the school board? We heard the resolution by the ACT, other areas, and we all agree that there are other areas of improvement that we need. Can you give me a straight answer that 5,000 a month, will that impede or hurt the school district's ability to pay attention to these other areas?
So in other words, if we were to approve, because as Oscar had said, we still have to approve it.
Don't qualify, just ask the question.
Yeah, so if we have to approve it later, would this money be a problem? I'm not be blunt. Is it going to be a problem with this money paying out of a general fund?
Well, I will say this, we are qualified.
Yes.
Our budget is qualified.
Yes.
What that means is the district may or may not be able to meet its obligations in the budget year and the two outgoing years, or outlying years. Excuse me. One of the reasons we are qualified has to do with our audit report. And as the district is continuing to resolve those audit findings, and as we receive notification from CDE regarding those audit findings, then as they are settled and removed, then we are able to lift that qualified status off of our budget report. We're not there at this point in time, but that is a true statement, we are qualified. $5,000 a month in the grand scheme of things, we have a $80+ million budget. I don't want to say that's going to break the bank, it's not going to break the bank, but I do agree that yes, we are qualified. And again, in the grand scheme of things, we have an $80+ million budget, and $5,000 a month, you know, it's
Okay.
it's not material as far as I'm concerned.
It doesn't seem a lot to me, but I just need to ask these questions. So this, because I'm a teacher, this would not hurt teachers in any way.
Oh my God, he didn't
Well,
just say that.
I think what he's referring to, go ahead.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul, or using this money, and this mitigates against any future salaries or classroom reduction, or, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if we have, the school district has other goals, we'll be able to move forward with these goals regardless of the 5,000 or not. Yes or no? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
I'm not sure if that's a question specifically for me.
Okay.
As far as the district goals, but as far as when you're talking about $5,000 a month in the grand scheme of things, which is $60,000 a year, again, in comparison to this $80 million budget, that's not material.
It's not material.
And I mean, we as a board are able to manage the money, and it's all in the management of money. I mean, there's things that are purchased that shouldn't be purchased, and you have to manage the budget a little better and the expenditures that you have. And knowing that you have this outstanding loan, you need to know that you have to put it into your budget. Build it in. You have to build it in, and there may be other expenses that are in the general fund that do not affect the salary. It may be other miscellaneous expenses that we just make just to spend the money for a reason. So I mean, there's ways. There was a bad word in the past for the board, for the district, attorney fees and stuff like that. Those are things that we can manage in order to.
But you can
once you put in.
Save money, make revisions, readjust.
Revisions, I mean.
Are you doing that? Are you doing that?
I mean, we're paying an outstanding loan from like 20 years ago. You know, so we managed to get that paid, and it's not affecting the district.
Okay. I'm at the kind of the last minute. I mean, I know I've had heard this, and so partly it's my fault, but you say the school district is qualified. There's no guarantee that we'll move out of that. Is that correct?
Well, I don't think there's a guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
Well,
we weren't always qualified, and again, we're probably self-qualified just due to some audit findings, and we're in the process of
audit findings.
those audit findings clear. And our goal is, come budget development, we will not be qualified. We will have a positive budget.
And not only that, Mr. Hodge, I mean, last year we were negative, and we managed the budget better in a couple of years, and to be qualified in 1 year, that was a tremendous move that we made. So there is, yeah, we were positive, we certified positive. I think that the thing was before was that the government was giving out deferrals, and now with the local control funding, the funding is coming at its regular time instead of deferring the monies.
Okay.
So we're getting the money up front, so that, you know, the qualified certification is because of audit findings. It's not that we don't have the money there.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that clarification. Will you please forgive me, there seems to be a contradiction but now it seems a little clearer. The qualified is because of audit findings. Because yet at the same time, are we not going to get a more increase of money from the state per student? Isn't that good news that's coming down the pike?
That's the new local control funding target.
Yes, but that is
Restricted?
No, it's not restricted. It's up to us to spend it in whatever we need. However, allocated. Thank you. But we have to be very careful in how we use that money, because we don't want to make any expenditures just because we have some money. It's when you find a $20 bill under your bed, you can spend it, and then all of a sudden you don't have any. Right? Same thing. We don't just because we're going to receive an extra amount of money, we don't want to start spending it right away, and then 2 or 3 years from now we're going to find ourselves in the red. That's what I'm trying to say. We have to be very careful in how we spend that extra new money.
Okay, I just need to get clear in my head that out of one mouth we're saying we're qualified, possibly in the third year not being able to meet our obligations, and yet at the same time, good news that money is coming in. So you understand?
And with all due respect, Mr. Hodge,
Yeah.
The board is the one that makes the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And I see you protecting your position as a teacher, but at this time, the conversation should be.
No, the conversation is, are we really going to have the money? Are you going to have the money for the pool? With what we have facing?
Is the city really going to have the money for the pool?
Well, that's another
Question. And the thing is, in the management, we know we have this obligation on hand, and how do we manage that into the budget so that we can fulfill the commitment on both sides?
And in the obligations that the district enters in, it is built into the budget. It's a requirement, and it's listed, any and every obligation, loans, contracts, those types of things. They are.
So in a nutshell, it
Well, the
will,
winning point is I think 5,000 a month is not going to
and so that's,
hurt anybody.
I think that's the question that you're trying to make, is whether we'll have the 5,000. And I think what you're hearing back from Maya and Ruth is that it will and needs to be built into the budget. And so that means yes.
So that's from our end. However, going back to measure, going back to measure age, you said that you have made this presentation to them or to the committee, and they've seen it. However, at this point, we don't have any guarantees that Measure H will go ahead and grant us the loan, or that is going to grant us the loan at 0%. Is that right?
So if we were to go to Measure H, and Measure H says no, then we have a decision. We'll obviously have to come back to the different boards. But before we even do that, you've got to remember, the Measure H only makes recommendations. City council is the one that approves.
Okay, I see.
So obviously, there's an appeal process that we could go through. If in fact they decided to deny, we could appeal up to the council.
Okay, I see. Okay, so the process will be in that case, the process will be us approving tonight, approved to move forward, no contracts, it's just to move forward, and each individual city council and board discuss it, approve it in our own terms, and then come back again and and sign the MOU.
with the idea that this funding mechanism, the way we're setting it up,
Yes.
makes sense to everybody.
Exactly. So we still have to approve it at a later date. However, we wouldn't have that conversation until we have the assurance of Measure H, or at least the city council, that that this loan will be
That is correct.
good for us.
When we go to Measure H, they could be asking the same question. Well, how do we know if we didn't make you a loan that you're going to move forward? We're going to be prepared to say, because we had a joint meeting.
Yes.
And both boards said, move forward under these bases, and part of this is the funding from Measure H.
Oscar, have we done our homework? Is Measure H going to be solvent with giving out these loans?
Yes, and we're making a report to at the next Measure H committee meeting on their standing. Yeah, we don't have a problem with that.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, I would
Yes, sir.
encourage the council and the board to continue with the presentation.
all right, but these are important questions with
Mayor-
concerns.
Mayor, may I
Yes,
have a question.
yes.
Right now, we are talking about $5,000 a month and
60.
also $60,000 a year, right?
No, it adds up to 60 a year.
Up to 60, okay. But we just talking about the loan. Who can answer to me or to us, to everybody, what's the rate are gonna be for the loan? Because we just taking 5,000, but what about the interest rate? Do you know, someone knows about that?
There is no interest rate.
Oh, no interest?
No,
Oh, okay. Oh, that's great.
that's a good deal. Okay.
Also,
All right, let's move forward and then, but
The next slide depicts, phase 2 and 3, and I think the only thing you want to really point out on that is that there's a waiting pool on the southern end, okay, and that comes in on phase 2 and 3, and obviously the reason that we wanted to do that is to make sure that the competition pool has certain depth and so on. I believe it's 6 feet gradually down there. So obviously, you wouldn't want to have a 2-year-old toddler going in. So that's the reason for the second pool, which comes in, I believe, in phase 2, and that would take care of that particular population, so that they could also utilize the facility.
children.
The next slide, and I'll go kind of through it a little rapidly, because some of these events we already know, but we thought we'd put together a history of the pool project and, how this came about and so on. As you know, in April of 2010, I believe it's tomorrow, will be 4 years,
April 4th.
that the April earthquake occurred. And so it's taken us a while, and we really need to move this along. Also, that's when the community started talking about the swimming pool, and there was a dialogue that started between the district and the schools, based a lot on the prior history. Again, not reinventing the wheel. The prior history was that, in fact, the district and the schools, the district and the city had a memorandum, an agreement to utilize the pool facilities. There was meetings that started between city officials and district officials about the spring of 2012. There was a little bit of a delay because of the items that the district was facing with their whole idea of the finances and so on. So it was a little bit of a delay, and then we got back on it. And then Jimmy Sanders from Sanders Inc. was asked to develop the plans for the project so we could move along and see what we were really looking at. And then so the plans have been developed, drawn, submitted to the state, and we're just waiting for the state to approve that. And again, the area was demolished and is being cleared at this time. The next steps, obviously, are to form the memorandum of understanding, which is a joint agreement that we talk about in this particular handout, so that we all understand what the game rules are. If we're going to play together, we got to know what the rules are. So this document is very, very important, but because it will talk about, okay, who's going to use it when, and what are the hours of operation, and who's going to take care of the maintenance, and what happens if the city is in the middle of the summer and the district wants to use it, how do we make sure that we allow that, how do we make sure that the transaction can occur. So there'll be a lot of dialogue between the different staffs, if you decide to move along, between the staff from the district and the staff of the city to try to put something together that makes sense for both agencies. And as we said before, that will all come back to you for approval by the different boards. Then, so we want to try to complete that as soon as possible, and at the same time, we're going to be getting plans and getting the approvals and getting ready to go out to bid. The suggestion of a joint facilities was obviously because it makes sense. If each one of us tried to do it on our own, it would cost us more money. I don't think there's any question about that. The way we're doing it, we're combining financings. And so it makes it a little easier on both agencies. And of course, again, I think we all will agree that we're doing this for the benefit of the community, which includes students as well as seniors, as well as whoever else is in our community. So that was a conversation at that point, and that's when, of course, we started talking to Measure H, and we made a presentation to them because we were going to be short once we started putting this whole thing together. And then that's when we talked about, well, okay, we can't really drain Measure H and say, okay, you just fund the whole thing, because they have other priorities also, such as financing other projects, and in our particular case, also assisting to a large extent the maintenance of service on our law enforcement agencies. So we wanted to make sure that we didn't do that, and we showed that, in fact, we were committed to this, and that hopefully both agencies are committed by taking a loan, rather than asking them to grant us the money, taking a loan. And because it is for the benefit of the community, that's why we said, okay, we're going to ask them for a no-interest loan. It just makes sense. It's the community's money, so we should put it back into the community. And that's how we came up with the differential funding it with a loan. And again, there are no guarantees, but we do want to answer their question before we get to them. And I'm sure one of the first questions is going to be, if we go ahead and recommend the approval of this loan, are you prepared to move forward? Do you have all your financing in place? And we've got to be able to say yes. And so the rest of the financing is in place. So by saying that, I think it goes a long way. Not only do we have financing, but hopefully, if you decide tonight to move ahead with the project, you can stand before them and say, we've got both boards that want to move forward, we've got the rest of the financing in place, you can make this project happen by allowing us to slow it. And that's what we want to be able to do when we move forward.
But once again, when you say agree to move forward, that means that you as a city council, mayor, and us as the board, that we still need to discuss whether we want to approve this project.
Yeah, and again, I got to be very honest with you. The reason we're before you tonight is because there has been some conversation about some people who may not want this thing. And so, again, on the staff level, I know that I'm sure Raul and the superintendent and so on, we have our plates full. And so we don't need anything more to be put on our plate unless this is serious. And so if both boards decide they want to move forward, we're going to have to spend some time on this project. But to answer your question, yes, it's got to go through the same procedure as if you were doing it by yourself. You got to get approvals from both boards. But we've got to go with the attitude, if we're going to do this, that we're all serious about this. And so we're going to spend the time it takes to get this thing done. And that's why we're before you tonight. That's our presentation in a nutshell. We do want to just quickly, unfortunately we don't have slides for this for the public, but I wanted to quickly give some key dates on the calendar, which you have before you in your handouts, because that has changed, of course, as we move through this project. The timelines change depending on, when we accomplish certain tasks. The timeline now is, of course, the approvals on the demolition lot have all taken place and so on. And the biggest item next is to get the approval from the state that will allow us to move forward. And then we go on to the advertising. We're scheduling advertising sometime in June. And then the pre-bid conference also in June, with the bid deadlines being in July. Now, with the bid deadlines being in July, then that means we have to have a memorandum of understanding, a memorandum of agreement prior to that. So we're calculating that will be done by June, if not before. With that in hand, then we would go forward and release the bidding, and then the award of the bid we were looking to do sometime in July of this year, with the construction starting in August. And with a little bit of luck, we would have this project completed in April, in time for our summer programs for the following summer. That's our schedule. We believe it's attainable, but decisions do need to be made, and we do need to move forward if, in fact, we are going to hit summer of next year.
That means if we're going to follow this schedule, that means that the meetings will have to start right away for the boards to decide by the end of May. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the meetings will start right away on our different staffs.
Yes, exactly. That's, yes.
Putting together that memorandum of understanding.
Yes.
Because we'll need to bring that to you. On the other side also, and it's not in here, the other side of the coin is that the Measure H has agreed to go ahead and bond $1 million, half of their revenues, which we've curtailed it down to $1 million. And that would bring in approximately $11 million, of which Measure H and the council has approved that $2 million of that be utilized for the pool facilities. So you ask, where does the $1.8 million come from in order to make that loan? That's where it's coming from the bond issue.
Okay, so when Measure H asks, when they ask you, are the finances in place, you can say the district has this money already bonded, or it's already in a trust fund, and your money is already also ready to go. So
That's exactly what we want to be able to say. One, we got the boards that have agreed for us to move forward, and two, the financing is in place.
okay,
That's what we want to be able to say.
Well, there is a distinction here between what we actually have now and what's unfunded, but I know we were held back because of our audit. That's clear now, right, City Manager?
That's correct.
So in a nutshell, how smooth will the proceedings go now for the bond that we approved for the fire station? And out of that, there was $2 million allocated for the pool, right?
We believe that should not be an issue. We have
Not an issue.
a phone conference with Standard & Poor's, who is the rating agency for all bonds. We believe that they're going to give us a good rating so that we can put our bonds out at a AAA, which is the best you can get with the insurance guarantee. So we should be able to get a very good interest rate on our bonds. And like I said, our target right now is that we're going to raise the $11 million, which we told the council we thought we could raise, which would encompass, if you will recall, $7 million for a fire station, $2 million for parks, and $2 million for the school, for the swimming facilities. So everything is moving. You know, all these pieces need to come together, but we can't delay. We got to keep moving forward, and they will come together. I mean, right now you may not see them coming together, but that's what we want to make sure, that everybody is committed to moving forward and making this thing happen. And if we are committed, it can happen. All the pieces are there.
Okay.
That's the end of our presentation. If you have questions, you can answer.
I'll tell you what's bothering me right now is when they got up and read that resolution. So I wish we had a copy of it. May I have a copy of it? School board, the way we're financing, this will not interfere with decisions about classroom reduction, yes or no, or not? They're making allegations here. Do you understand? And I seriously have to consider this. I just can't throw this out the window.
I'm sure you have to consider it whether making your decision. We've already,
Well,
I believe
yes.
we've already assured you that, I mean, that's what we're here for, Bill, to make either we commit to doing this or we don't.
But that's not answering my question. It's not going to hurt these other areas.
What's it?
Please, yes or no?
It should not.
Any other areas.
We answered that question about 15 minutes ago.
Oh, I wasn't quite clear about it.
Mr. Hodge, Mayor Hodge, what
Yes.
is bothering me, once again, what is bothering me is when I heard that it's going to come out of general fund. Okay, I know $60,000 a year is not a lot,
That's
but
kind of what's
it
bothering
is-
me too.
It is, as they say, it is what it is. It is $60,000. It could be $2 2 classified member salaries, it could be 1 new teacher salary. However, with that said,
Let me answer your question.
Please.
Partly, Cito. Last year, we had our football coach come to us asking to commit monies, commit time, commit effort to buy equipment, to allocate monies for a class. We did that out of general fund, and it was for more than $60,000. It was $700,000, okay? So, and there are other things that we are doing. It's a matter of what Mrs. Duarte mentioned earlier. It's a matter of making a commitment that we will find the money in the general fund. As I'm explaining to you, we made an expense that was significantly more than $60,000.
and on the other hand, we need a pool.
Right.
We need a pool. And I don't know about the city, but just for our kids. Maria, aren't we the only high school in Imperial County that doesn't have a pool?
Just about.
We are the only high school that doesn't have a pool.
Mr. Mayor, I think that we got elected to make decisions, and make decisions for the common good of the city of Calexico, whether that be in the school or would that be the community as a whole.
Well, this definitely regards the community, lighting and
We'll
softball.
spend 5 summers without a swimming pool. We are deliberating and we are overanalyzing the situation. I think we need to make a
So you're not
decision.
concerned about this, Mayor Pro Tem?
I'm concerned about the 40,000 residents that live in this community that would benefit by having a pool.
I am
here.
also, but
El
you're
Centro,
not concerned
let me
about
finish. El
right.
Centro, Brawley, Calapat, Hopeville, Imperial, all have a municipal pool.
I want a pool also.
Okay, I believe that $5,000 a month to repay a loan is not gonna break the bank.
Okay, that's what I'd like to
And this
hear.
pool will serve our community for years to come, We are shortchanging our youth. We are shortchanging our seniors that need that pool. I believe with the presentation that was given by Mr. Martinez, by Sanders Architect, and by our city manager, look to be a presentation, a plan that will serve our community well. I see it, and I'm tired of sitting and waiting, and overanalysis is
not
paralysis.
overanalysis.
Let me finish, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
You have your opinion. You need to make a decision. We need to make a decision.
That's right, but I will not be
Either-
badgered into a decision.
No, nobody's badgering you.
All right.
It's a simple,
Continue.
yes, I support this project the way it stands, or no, I don't support this project the way it stands.
Life is not like that, John.
Yes, it is. And let me just finish.
I respect what you say. Everything you say, I agree.
Look at the common good.
Absolutely. But I don't want to go belly up or find out we don't have money. I just want to ask, and I like answers, John. So let me ask, I like what you say. I respect. You give me confidence that 5,000 is not going to, okay? All right? So that comes from you, and I wanted to ask you, and I want to hear from the other council.
All right.
But again, these areas are about the community, all right? Lighting and softball and baseball, pool, and textbooks. I still got the U.S. history textbook with Ronald Reagan. So, I mean, all I need to know is, Mr. Hodge, this is separate. What we're going to do with the pool and the money and how it's coming is not going to impact, and it seems obvious, but I just want to hear yes, that it's not going to impact or interfere with our plans to move forward when you can, however you can, with these other areas.
Will you
of
answer that for the
concern.
4th time?
Mayor Hodge, if
hear it, please.
if I may interject, I feel confident that just like we have approved in the past, like my fellow board members have said, in the past we have approved major expenditures, if I'm not mistaken. And this, as we have talked about this before and all over the city, the pool is needed.
Absolutely.
Hold
Don't get me wrong.
on. So, but I feel confident
Okay.
that we can find the resources to pay for this to pay for this loan. However, I want to remind you that at this point we are only voting to move forward. We're not voting. This is not the final vote where we say yea or nay on.
And I
on
like
the
that
pool.
because there's possible revisions,
Exactly.
there's
So at this
possible
point,
adjustments and clarifications. Okay.
May I make a comment?
I'm sorry, but I mean, I need to know. Okay, go ahead.
May I make a comment?
Yes.
And there is a lot of things that you pointed out, right, on that resolution. Some of them are negotiable, some of them are our obligation to pay, but the price of a swimming pool, realistically, the district cannot pay for it itself. We will never be able to build the entire swimming pool with the facilities, the way it is, state-of-the-art, with general fund monies, 100% funding. Now, there is the opportunity, because I know I have received surveys from the city asking what I would like to see with the city. My number one answer was a swimming pool. Not as a board, I wasn't even a board member at that time when I got the survey.
I agree with you.
So, my responsibility now that I am on the board, I have the opportunity to move forward on an item that I put on a survey. My number one thing was a swimming pool for the city of Calexico. Not only is it going to be a joint venture, because Calexico Unified has always maintained that pool. As old as it was getting very, very expensive because it had a lot of leaks.
You don't need to convince me about the need of a pool.
Okay, so, us putting aside the resolution that was read tonight, which was very eloquently put, and I agree with it, we still need to move forward with the pool because this is the opportune time.
Okay.
Now, it's going to be coming in, funding's going to be coming in for the maintenance of the pool, because it has to be maintenance.
That's true.
We're trying to put solar so it could be used all year round. Therefore, there's going to be income coming in. Now, some of the things on that resolution are negotiable. So it's up to this board, not to your council,
Correct.
to make that decision.
Okay.
And I hear you speaking as two individuals. I hear you speaking as a teacher, and I hear you speaking
No,
as the mayor.
softball and baseball fields have nothing to do with teaching in a way. That's community.
I understand, but the decision that we have to make.
Okay. This is what I'm concerned about. And I don't think, can you please just let me speak? We're not in a situation where we're going to go ahead in the pool. It's like, gee, I don't have all the money to pay the car payment, but I'm going to pay it, but we're not going to have money for food. It's not that kind of situation.
And it's not that kind of.
All right.
It is not that kind of.
And
To answer your question, yes, we will do every single effort to make sure that that funding is taken care of, teacher salaries is taken care of, because I think that's one of your most priority.
No, it's not. It's not. It's these other community items.
it's
And
everybody's salaries, not just it's
Exactly.
all
it's not
all
just
the unions.
salaries. It's everything for the community.
He
Yes.
brought it up.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Here is one thing that I think that if we argue that they're not correct, or correct, but we do need to be more transparent, and I think we can make moves towards that, right?
Yeah.
Do we give out do we give out public announcements that we're now when we have these committee meetings, it's in the nature state of committees, public is not invited.
Mr. Hodge, you know that these meetings are open, you attend every
They are
single
open?
meeting, and you
Okay.
know that they are open.
All right. Are they adequately being advertised and out there? I just come to them. I don't.
Well, all I know, I'm gonna.
I hope you don't come, I hope you participate.
No, I do, but I mean, I don't know if that's happening.
Well, let me
Please answer that.
Let me answer. I'm gonna answer that question. From now on, every meeting
From
that
now
we
on.
have,
Good.
it's going to be open to the
All right,
public.
that's
It's
it.
going to
That's
be
good.
posted in our website. And well, if it's a joint meeting, you have to do the same
We
thing.
have to do
but
the
at
same
least
thing.
from
We've
our
been doing it?
At least from our
Mr.
end.
Hodge, I think our superintendent had a question for
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Maria.
As I heard the resolution, as you said, it was well stated, there were several items that were included on there, such as the fields, the tracks, bleachers, et
Textbooks,
cetera.
that's,
But when we're talking about the outside, that does impact the general public.
absolutely.
Our district has been very proactive this year in seeking out any and all type of funding for.
And we will continue to pursue that. Sorry.
So, for example, we just got notification this afternoon that we are moving into the second phase of receiving a significant grant for the upgrading our baseball and softball fields.
All right, great. They need to know
We
that.
have moved forward in another grant that will improve our science, our health and
Excellent.
health and science CTE program.
Okay.
So we have received recently or are in line to receive significant funding for a lot of the items that were
Good.
mentioned in
I like hearing that. And they need to hear that.
Well, again, a lot of this information came between yesterday and today.
All right.
Just so you're aware, we are
Okay.
being very proactive in seeking out any and all funding opportunities that will help improve the facilities in our
All right. Okay.
And I will also, Mayor Hodge, I would like to remind you again that this meeting is just to agree if we want to move forward.
Just to move
We're
forward.
We're not
Setting anything in stone.
Exactly. We're not agreeing to start building the pool. We're just agreeing to work on the MOU, and we still have to, as a board, we still have to approve it. You, as a city council, you still have to approve your own side, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, then I'll make my statement and we'll move forward. Because, I'm the one that's irritating here or stalling or holding back, whatever you want to,
You're not.
overanalyzing. But I think that these were important concerns. I wanted them addressed. I like to hear yes or no right in my ear. And I've heard it. And I like what Mayor Pro Tem said, and it reconfirms my feeling that $5,000 a month is not going to put us under. You have other sources and other budgeting for these other areas. So with that, and also with the fact that we're only moving forward, and there will be other dialogue and discussions and adjustments, I feel comfortable at this time. Is there any other council member that would like to state something?
Oh, yeah, I'm here too, huh?
Yes.
I think that there's one really important thing that we're all forgetting here is that the city of Calexico has very limited resources for our citizens. Our parks are right now, we are working really hard to improve our parks, and we're hoping to inject a lot of money into our parks as well. But this city is such a tiny city, and there really isn't much for our kids to do.
That's absolutely correct.
And so I want to remind you all that there was a young man that died last year.
My student.
Because the city of Calexico is the only city in all the Imperial Valley that this monster of a canal runs through. And so last summer, we lost a child. Actually, he was a young man. And we couldn't find his body for quite a while. And that was devastating to all of us. I know that was. And of course, their family as well. And because of that, I think that we owe something to that child that lost his life. And not to allow any other children to lose their lives in this city because we don't have anything for them to spend their time in. And that's something very serious that I think that everything else does not matter. I think what matters the most are our children. And I think we need to focus on that, so.
Well, that's a good comment, and again, I'm in a position where I think about, and it's been said, the greater good of the community, but I just wanted clarification and assurance, So I'm assured at this point, because we can still move and change things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Mayor. Yes, I'm supporting this issue with the swimming pool, especially because the kids of Calexico, they deserve a swimming pool. But at the same time, I'm disappointed because we are borrowed the money. We are borrowed the money, and there is some other options like school district or City of Calexico, the administration. They need to work to look for another funds. That is my main concern, because there is some others priorities for the City of Calexico, and that's the reason we are struggling as a city. And again, At the same time, this is for the kids. Well, sometimes we, I'm not exactly if I say jeopardy.
In jeopardy.
Jeopardy. In this case, this borrow money, but we need to move forward.
Okay.
And is this decision is the best for the kids of the city of Calexico? I'm supporting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move that we approve the motion that is on the agenda, and that we move forward working with the Calexico Unified School District to find, to develop an MOU and get this pool built.
I second that motion, Mr. Mayor.
All right then, and that's for the city at this point in time.
Right.
So we don't have our little lighting board. So all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, it is unanimous, but let me just make sure. Any noes? Any abstentions? No. All right, it is unanimous with the contingency that things can change. And just one point, what Councilman Castro said, we're open, we're flexible. We can look at other options possibly, right?
We're always looking at it.
All right.
The biggest thing that people need to understand is if we keep looking for options, we're never going to build this thing. You know, this is the other thing. You've got to make decisions. That's what
We are, Oscar, but who knows? We might find something right away and, whoa, there it is. Let's move on it.
to come in and take care of it.
Okay. All right, that's our side.
Mayor,
Thank you, Mayor.
Make a motion
Mayor.
to move forward with this project for the Calexico Unified School District. We have
I will second that, but I would like to comment. And I would like the three of us to have the opportunity to make any comments if we need to. Ms. Duarte, do you have any comments?
I just think it's an opportune time to do it. It's something that we have been looking forward to for a long time. Not only we, but serves the community, the senior citizens of this town, the children of Calexico, and the need is there. And I would be willing to move forward with the city as a joint venture.
Ms. Aguilar?
As the city manager mentioned earlier, we should always be on the lookout for additional sources of income. I know that at one point when the initial conversations were starting to be held, other entities were approached, and while some couldn't go in on the phase of construction, there was some entities that said that they could help put monies towards the administration of it and the funding, things like that. So there are other options as well. One of the options that I brought up to the city manager and yourself and the other people who have been there at the committee is approaching the community itself and perhaps, doing in terms of bricks, dedication bricks, or doing a fund drive. If you give $1, give $5, and I think that goes a long way towards making the community feel they have a buy-in to it. They have a stake in that pool. And personally, I would like for us to just move forward on this because it's been a long time in discussion, long time in coming, and our community needs this pool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aguilar. Just like my fellow colleagues, I do agree that the city and the school district students need the pool. This is going to be, Mr. Moreno, this is going to be our fifth summers without a pool. So with that said, also I would like to remind everybody that all sources of income will be looked upon.
Good.
Okay. I am going to have more conversations with I'm going to try to have more conversations with Senator Hueso's representative to see what is it, what state we're in regarding the money. Like I said, I thought the $2.8 million was for phase one, but, well, we can talk about that later. As stated previously, this motion is just to move forward, but at a later date, we as a board, we will have to decide whether we want to, if we will approve it or not. So at this point, I'm confident that just deciding to move forward and talk among ourselves regarding this issue is it's a good option, because we're not deciding to start building it right now. It is just a motion to start talking about it, although we don't have that much time, because according to what I am reading, we have to make a decision. We will have to make a decision by late May, Mr. Rodriguez, right? We will have to make a decision, but according to your plan or the timeline, we will have to make a decision by April, May of 2014, right?
I believe it's, I don't know.
Yeah, April, May 2014, so.
It will be done by June.
Yes.
So we're going to try and get it done before that.
So we need to move.
That's a primary document before we can go out.
So we need to move forward and start working, and that means that you, Mr. Rodriguez, and our superintendent will have to start working on this right away. So, Maria, just add another thing to your calendar, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr.
And
Chair,
that is my.
You need to do it as a roll call vote.
Yes, and that's my comment, and I had seconded that motion, and we're going to do roll call on this vote.
Mr. Ortega, aye.
Ms. Aguilar?
Ms. Aguilar, aye.
Mr. Calderon, aye. So motion passes 3-0 unanimously. Voting yes were Ms. Duarte, Ms. Aguilar, and Mr. Calderon. No abstentions.
Okay, very good. So City of Calexico wants to move forward on the pool, and the Calexico Unified School District wants to move forward, joint effort. So thank you for your time and your patience, John. And this meeting is adjourned.